Hey America, welcome back to USARK. My name is Garrett and I'm hosting your channel, and tonight we actually have a pretty special guest to help me have a little bit of an interview discussion on sort of the reach and effects that USARK and American legislation cause with the ripples that they create. And that is Adam Wicken from Wicken's Wicked Reptiles. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Garrett. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here in the studio.
Well, this is a great cause, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. So USARK stands for the United States Association of Reptile Keepers.
Yeah.
Now, you are a reptile keeper, but obviously you're not from the United States.
I am not from the United States. I'm from Canada, but, I mean, it is America in general, and we just kind of copy things that the U.S. does anyway.
Now, I've watched your channel on YouTube before. If you guys have never seen it, you can catch the link in the description here. But on your channel, you've actually mentioned and supported things that are going on with USARK, updating the community. Why are you doing that as a Canadian? Why are you helping the cause here in the United States?
Well, there's a bunch of reasons why I'm doing it. First of all my friends are here, right? So in terms of Canada, we've got a very small community, and we copy the U.S. So whatever happens here is going to happen in Canada. So I just want to support what is a great cause that is not only fighting just for the U.S., but in my mind, they're fighting for Canada and the rest of the world who is paying attention to the U.S. too.
Interesting. Now, I've heard people say, like, we've got comments from our European viewers and things like that are saying, in so many words, as the U.S. goes, so goes the world when it comes to these new and especially the real broad sweeping bans. I think that if a country with as large a reptile community as the United States has, as you said, can get away with this kind of misrepresentation of their people, I guess the thinking is, what chance does a country with a smaller reptile industry have? Is that right? Is that fair?
That is fair, because there is really no chance, and there's not really much fighting back. We don't have a USARK or anything as powerful as USARK in Canada, so we're fighting an uphill battle. If we let the battle on this side of the border lose, there's really no fighting chance in Canada.
So now, beyond even what happens there in Canada, the impact of what we're fighting now is the Competes or USARK Act once it's reconciled. And this is something that all of us are trying to write into our representatives in the government. And if you guys haven't done that, definitely click on the step 1. You can click that link right there, and we will help you voice your opinion to the people that are actually going to be making these laws. But you have another personal vested interest, and there's a lot of other people I think that are like you in this, that as you've gotten more and more into the reptile keeping hobby and wanted to legitimize it, from a business standpoint, you started looking maybe a little bit more south of the border as well. Is that right?
Yes, and to be perfectly blunt about it, in Canada we're losing rights daily. They're kind of, laws are passed in the middle of the night. It's not like in Canada, or not like the US rather, where there's like a process. Things just change. So in my business that I want to run, which is keeping reptiles and educating about reptiles, and things like Burmese pythons, tegus, things like that, I can't just move all willy-nilly, and if I stay in Canada, I run the risk of them just outright banning them and with no grandfather clause. And I don't want that to happen in the US because I want to live here. And the reason I want to live here is because I'm trying to leave what's happening in Canada.
And I think, honestly, that's what this country is meant to represent, is people who are wanting to live their lives in a way that maybe other people don't understand, have the freedom to do so under a government that protects those rights here. And so, it's terrible to think, but we actually already have people. You don't have to look any further than USARK Florida to find people who are already, you mentioned the tegus and the Burmese pythons, having their rights stripped away, and in those cases, their pets taken from them in many cases as well.
And that's the thing too, is like when I think about America, I think about freedom. So if you don't have the freedom to make your own decision on what you're able to keep or able to transport across borders, which doesn't even make sense. If you have a Burmese python in Pittsburgh and you want to travel across the border to New York, there's no way that python is going to become invasive in either of those states. It just does not make any sense. Or something like, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's something that couldn't pose a risk to humans, what is the point of outlawing the transport of that animal? What if you live close to a border of a state and your vet is on the other side? Well, now you can't go to that vet. What if that's the only specialty vet around you? It doesn't make any sense, the laws, and I come from a country full of nonsensical laws, so I'm trying to leave that. It would be a real shame if this country kind of turned into what I'm trying to leave.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it would. So, I think the other thing that people need to maybe realize, and maybe you can speak to this, is you have hundreds of thousands of people that are watching you on YouTube. And there are other people, friends of ours, that have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of followers that watch that. Some of those, I would think a large percentage of them, don't even own reptiles. It's just an interest that they have, something that they study, something that they're interested in, and they live vicariously through what you're doing, your educational work, the collection of reptiles that you keep. I know that you keep a lot of rescued animals and things like that. And people fall in love with, they know all your pets by name.
They do.
Right? And so what do they stand to lose if these kinds of things are allowed to come to pass?
Well, if you're someone who's trying to live vicariously through us, which I get so many, you hit it right on the head, because I get comments like that every single day. I get people, even say mothers, who would come to a show and say, hey, I used to hate snakes, but because of your channel, now we have a pet snake.
That's great.
Right, my son was very interested. I said, no, he put your channel on the TV. You're part of our household now. We eat dinner with you. And if I can't keep those reptiles and you can't keep those reptiles and these big creators can't, and the industry is going to fold, and also you're going to villainize these animals, which is kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do in the first place. The reason I started this channel is to show love and appreciation for snakes. They're not slimy, they're not gross, they're not out to hurt you. And I think that we're doing a great job of instilling that in the public. And that's all going to go away if these laws pass.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're here. We're on the USARK channel. You have the floor. Is there anything that you would like to say to our viewers about what they can do to help your situation, something that is maybe in your arena that we may not realize, or even any legislators that may be watching right now? Is there any message that you have for us that you want to take the floor?
I would say, if something doesn't make sense, actually make sense, don't move forward with it at a legislative level. If you are somebody who's thinking, this is terrible and I wish this wouldn't happen, I wish this would stop, and you haven't written your representative, there's no excuse not to. If you look at the link below in the description, it basically writes the email for you. It tells you exactly where to send it. I'm Canadian. I don't even live in this country. And I've sent letters to representatives in the US. Everybody's watching. And if these laws pass here, even if you're not from here, they're coming for your country too.
Jeez. All right. Well, thanks, Adam. I appreciate you coming on. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching.
Good night, America.